Hello and welcome everyone to another inventRight TV show. My name is Andrew Krause. I'm one of the co-founders here at inventRight. We have two very special guests. One is Aaron Orozco, who is an inventRight student, and his inventRight coach, Ryan Diaz. Hey guys, thanks for coming on.
What's up, Andrew? Thanks for having us.
So let's just get right to it, and then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about just Aaron's experience and Ryan's experience helping Aaron, and so through this process, there's going to be some lessons learned for any inventor out there. So yes, you get to see how an inventRight coach works with a student, but you're going to learn lessons for yourself through all this too. So people always get irritated when they know that one of our students licenses a product and we don't show it. So here's the product right here. It is a dog toy, and it has a hole here. Aaron's going to describe this better. It has a hole here. It has these holes here. So everywhere is like these little holes. And so basically you put some treats in there, right? And the dog goes crazy and like figures it out, and it stimulates their brain a little bit, right? And it's like, is this like an atom or what is this thing? This is so cool.
Kind of developed from that idea of like a little molecule. Yeah, you just put kibble right in the middle. It's a little more higher IQ, like maybe a level puzzle, IQ level 2 or 3 puzzle toy.
Oh, but there's levels.
Yeah, since it's not a round one, it's kind of harder for the dog to do it, so they kind of got to paw it like that.
Do they actually give levels of IQ for dog IQ, depending on what they can do?
Officially, no, but I've heard them do it. So
okay,
we'll
that's
go with
interesting.
yes.
So I want to start off, and we'll be talking to Ryan quite a bit too, but one way I like to start these interviews off when we have an inventRight student, an inventRight coach, is you had certain perceptions of inventing before you came to inventRight, and now after Ryan's been helping, you've been through the process. You've licensed 2 products, correct?
Yes.
2 products already. What was one of your major misperceptions before that now you're like, I got that down?
That you don't need a lot of money to do this. Like with that one that you just showed, I just showed them a 3D rendering that you guys did and the cell sheet that you guys helped me put together. And they took it, they liked the idea, and they ran with it. So people try to venture. I tried to venture at 1.2 with another product, but you really don't need to. You can do this with so little money if you don't have the resources for that.
So what did you think before? You think you need 10 grand for a patent, 5 grand for a prototype, and we did a virtual prototype for you, and then you just filed a provisional, I'm assuming?
Yeah, exactly.
For $75?
Yeah, I did file the provisional.
Yeah. So, Ryan, what was one of the things that Aaron struggled with that you think he's rocking with now? Rocking on now,
Well, I think some of his early ideas were not the best, or were maybe needed to be massaged a bit. And like a lot of new inventors, he would come with an idea and go, "Hey, this is great. I think for X, Y, and Z reasons." Then we say, "Well, maybe look at this." And I remember specifically he had an idea that attached to a door, if you recall that, Aaron, for the cat. And I think that had some issues that you probably could see now after the fact why that was. And so I remember a time Aaron would constantly be throwing ideas at me. And there was a point where I was going, "Oh, man, this is going to be tough." And then several months later, he's like, "Yeah, products." And so the development, and I think I sent him emails saying how proud I was of his development, because he was very, very shy when we first met. He really was, or at least that was my perception. And now he's this confident guy. He's licensing stuff. He's putting himself out there. He knows what the hell he's doing. I'll tell you that much. And so I just saw a tremendous amount of growth in him, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart.
That's pretty cool. He says that, Aaron.
I appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah.
Aaron,
and Aaron and I have.
So Aaron was just throwing ideas at you. Now, do you think he thinks them through a little bit more? It's fine if you throw ideas at a coach. And is he better at analyzing what's going to make sense and picking his projects a little more carefully? I'll ask Ryan first, and then I want Aaron to chime in.
Yeah, sure. It's obvious, right? He's been through the ringer. He licensed one product. I think he sees what makes a good project for licensing. And he went out. He stayed in that category. He didn't move around, which you could still do that. Nothing says you have to stay in just pets or just hardware. But I think he's found a niche here. And I think he's probably going to be working on some additional pet products, and I'm pretty confident he's going to have a third or fourth one in the very near future.
Nice. Aaron, do you feel more comfortable choosing projects, more confident with picking your projects? Are you a little more picky now?
Well, the only difference now is I just don't throw them all at Ryan. Now I throw them out to the companies.
You throw them at who? The company. Okay.
The company. I'm just playing.
I know.
Definitely a lot more thought goes into choosing the product, but I have gotten permission from some of them just to show them all of my ideas, and all the ones that I think have legs, I'll show it to them, and I'm able to. I learned how to put together my own 3D renderings using a program called Blender 3D. It's very useful. So many YouTube tutorials. Everyone should go use it. It's free. But yeah, I started doing my own with that, putting everything together with the cell sheets.
Nice, nice. So what you're saying is you've been pitching enough where companies are like, hey, you can throw more rough stuff at us, throw a bunch of ideas at us. How does that feel? Doesn't that feel like you kind of gone pro when you get there? Is it just me, or is that, Ryan, that is going, when you start doing stuff like that, you're kind of getting pretty professional, right?
Yeah, no doubt. If he doesn't even have to make a sell sheet, but he could literally just send him an idea, he's pro. And we're not talking about a small company. This is a major player in the space. So yes, 100%. He's a professional.
Ryan, why do you think they're okay with you doing that? Do you think you impressed them enough with what you showed them? They're like, this is a guy we want more ideas from? Is that...
Are you asking me?
No, sorry. I meant Aaron.
Sorry.
I said Ryan, but I meant Aaron. Yeah. Aaron, do you feel like they're like, oh yeah, this guy's professional, where somebody else is like complaining, and you probably with those same companies showed them ideas and they're like no, and you're like, can I send you more? And they're like, yeah. I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's definitely that. They literally, I have to show them everything that I do.
Oh, there's some of them made you commit to that. Like some of them want to see it first.
And which I love, because I can just throw everything. And if they're looking for a new category or something, they're going to see it. And of course, they'll say no if they don't like something. But
yeah.
Definitely no problem showing them when I have a new idea, which is great.
Okay, that's great. Are you going to stay in pet? You going to go in some other categories, or?
I'm trying to work on some direct response TV. I've seen on TV products, so I think I'm going to focus on that right now. Of course, the pet stuff, because I still have a lot of other stuff going on.
Okay.
But definitely venturing out into the I've seen on TV.
Ryan, what else did you observe when Aaron, when you were coaching Aaron? Any?
Well, let me, if I could piggyback on your last comment. You know, Aaron and I have maintained a good relationship where we still reach out to each other from time to time just to say hello. And I check in on him because after going through the program, you maintain friendships, right? You're with your student for so long that they're no longer a student. It's, hey, my buddy Aaron. So I check up on him occasionally, and he does with me as well. And to be honest with you, he doesn't need to show me stuff. He learned so much from us, and now what he's learned on his own, there's really nothing I can teach him at this point.
Right? Aaron, did you really learn all that from us, or is Ryan full of it?
100% all you guys.
Okay,
all from you guys. I knew absolutely nothing before joining you guys.
You know, is Ryan and Aaron, but both of you can jump in here. How important is mindset? Yeah, there's all like, this is the way you do this, and this is the way you do that. But how important is mindset and attitude? Aaron, you want to talk about that? What's your attitude now? How do you feel about the process, and what's your attitude? And you probably never consciously think about it that much, but if you could share with folks your attitude and your thought process and how you feel about licensing and inventing now, what do you focus on? What do you think about? It might not be what people think.
Steven's always saying it's a numbers game, so from the very beginning, that's why I was always throwing ideas at Ryan. I just knew one of them was going to hit eventually. It wasn't going to be all of them, but one of them would eventually, because I was learning more and more and more about the industry as each product got denied. And finally on my, I think it was 12th or 13th, it was that one I showed to them and they wanted it. So
now a lot of people, they as products, okay, that one didn't work out. Some inventors kind of do a step back. Did he do that, Ryan, for a little bit or not at all? Did he just keep flamming forward? I mean, most people hesitate a little bit.
No, I think he kept going forward, and I believe he even went to a couple trade shows, if I recall. Is that correct, Aaron?
Yeah, one of them got
yeah.
me into the trade show.
Right. The licensee actually got him a pass to get in. So Aaron was extremely committed, and that's what it takes. I've said this 100 times through the years. Nothing we do is difficult, but it does take a tremendous amount of commitment. And this guy you're looking at the screen is 100% committed. Let me tell you.
What is it because you've been excited about inventing for a long time and finally like I'm ready to go now? Is that how you feel, Aaron? Or
I just have so many ideas going on in my head that I just wanted to get them out there. So of course I'm excited about inventing and stuff because it's an exciting thing to do is getting a licensing deal.
Yeah.
But I just want my products out there.
Right. And you know what you need to do now and you just do it. And so, I always tell our students, you really need, it's more important that you're consistent every week than go crazy one week and don't do anything for 3. Do you pretty consistently every week work on your projects? How good are you at that? And if you're not, that's fine. Are you working on that? Or do you think you're already doing a pretty good job of it?
For the initial 2 years, I was working on it every day, every day. Now right now I have someone on Fiverr working on putting a CAD together for me. So I'm thinking every day, but I'm not directly in it every day now.
Right.
Because I do it a lot faster, so I don't really need to.
Well, Ryan, he's making a good point. He was working more before now, but he might be working less now, but just as efficient because everything's more familiar. I think that's kind of what you said, right, Aaron?
Exactly.
Do you see that quite frequently? Are they faster, more efficient, less hesitant when they work on their second, third, fourth, fifth product?
Right, because the first one's going to be the learning process. By the time you get to your second one, you're going to learn some shortcuts. You're going to maybe have a designer that you work with regularly. It's just easier. Simply put, it's easier. And now that he's done it many times, so he's got 2 successes, he's pitched, it sounds like, at least a dozen projects. I'll ask you, Aaron, could you not come up with an idea right now, this hour, and potentially be pitching it in 10 days? You have Blender 3D, you know how to use that? You could be showing it in 10 days, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's what's possible, guys, when you understand the process and you've experienced it firsthand.
I had someone present a new idea to me, and I did it in a day. They told me it one day, and then I put the whole cell sheet together in the 3D render, and I showed it to them. They were like, "What the hell?" But yeah.
Well, now a lot of people struggle with good marketing. How is he doing at the beginning with the marketing, and how is he doing later, Aaron? I mean, Ryan. Sorry, I keep getting you guys confused. How is he doing at the marketing? Was he kind of off? You need to fix a lot of stuff, or was that one thing he was always good at? Aaron says yes, he was off.
I was not always good at it.
He had challenges with the benefit statements, like most people do, and some bullet points. But that's nothing that can't get corrected very easily with a coach.
Aaron, any tips on getting straight into the point with the benefit statement of the product? What are your thoughts? What do you when you think about it? What do you try to focus on?
Basically, the number one point that it does, like with the one that you showed, I think I put a mentally stimulating treat dispenser with 6 dispensing holes or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I just try to get straight to the point.
Okay. That's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Benefits, not features, right?
Yeah, definitely benefits, not features. But
they
took that one.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's really cool. And so that, just to clarify, everybody, he didn't have a prototype. He said a virtual prototype or a design studio made for him. So that's pretty amazing. Now, did they? A lot of people are like, "Oh, but it's a dog toy. Don't you want to see a dog playing with it?" They weren't demanding that. They weren't. They were just like, "We get it. We're good."
Yeah, them specifically. Yeah, they could see the vision in their head, like I did. Some other companies definitely require a prototype.
Yeah.
But this one, they saw the vision, which is great. It's great when the licensee is able to see the vision like you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, a lot of people, Andrew, commonly ask me, well, how do I figure out what this is going to cost to manufacture? And what I typically tell them is, if you're showing this product to a company that's selling something similar to what you've invented, they're going to know that costs. So there's no reason for you to go out and try to cost it out. Aaron, did you need to know what the price of this was, or did the company figure that out?
Yeah, they figured it out. They able to go to a factory and ask them for the quote.
It's a good lesson. Did they ask you to make a prototype? Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I'm sorry. But they're going to have a general idea, right? Within seconds of seeing this project, they're going to know that's going to cost roughly X amount, right? Fair to say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to Andrew's question, if they asked me to make a prototype, when I I went and kind of ambushed them at the trade show. They didn't know I was showing up. And one of them said, "You're definitely going to need a prototype eventually," but that never came to fruition. So I was like,
You'd be surprised how often that happens. Or sometimes you just talk to the company and you say, "So what do you think? What are the issues? What are the problems?" They're like, "Oh, yeah. Well, what do you need to see?" "Oh, well, we need this and this to know this and this in order to get some quotes overseas." It's like, well, and you have a conversation and they're like, "Oh no, we're good now." So if you just every time they say we want a prototype, you say, "Okay," and you go out and make a bunch of effort. Well, okay, what are the issues? And have you found that to be true, Ryan? Do you see that pretty often with our students, or?
As far as, can you clarify?
They want a prototype, but instead you have a conversation, and then they're like, "No, we got our questions answered. We don't now need the prototype." I talked to a student today where that was the case.
Well, I'm almost never seeing prototypes. I mean, I would say 9 out of 10 of our students are not having physical prototypes.
Right.
And it doesn't seem to be an issue. So,
right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's I don't want to say the word odd, but it's odd because some company had told me, like, "What are we going to pay you for if you don't have a prototype? If you don't show us a prototype, like, what are we paying you for?"
Well, that's what a lot of inventors think.
But other companies will license it without a prototype, so it really does depend on the company that you're talking to.
Right. But one thing for sure is, when you get interest, if they do want a prototype, at least you don't have to do one ahead of time all the time, because you're selling the benefits, not a prototype or a patent. So it's like, I think some inventors think, like, if they want it and I didn't have it and I just showed a sell sheet with a virtual prototype, they'll get upset. Say, like, I think there's an unspoken thing like, "You scam me, you lied to me." And do companies really feel that way? I haven't experienced that. I don't think Ryan has.
You just explained it. No, you definitely do show the sell sheet first, and then they do tell you. So you are right on that one.
But they're not gonna run for the hills because you don't have one, right?
No, absolutely not.
And some might insist you make one, but hey, at least you know you get a fish on the hook now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What? And I'll just last question for Ryan. Ryan, what do you like about Aaron? What do you like about his? Just what do you like about him?
Oh, geez, put me on the spot. No,
I know, Andrew.
Oh, well, like his thought. Yeah, I know, but that's what this is all about.
I like
it's kind of
style. I like his style. No, I'm just kidding. No, in all honesty, Aaron, young guy, right? He's got a pet idea, and obviously that resonated with me because that's kind of what I did and my claim to fame. And then he hits me up and he says, "Hey, should I go to a trade show?" And I go, "Well, dude, if it wasn't for a trade show, I would have never got my deal." So then he goes to a trade show and he makes it happen. And he finagles his way into the trade show by being a slick talker, and just everything about him kind of mimicked my journey. And then he comes up with this incredible product that's with this massive market leader. And I've got his product right next to my product on my shelf. And it's like, I'm not going to say it's like my kid, because I think we're roughly the same age, but it's like me and my brother, did something together, and it's the coolest feeling. I've got his product next to mine, and it's just great. He's an honest guy. He's just a regular Joe doing it. He's living the inventRight dream. He really is.
There's nothing more exciting than helping somebody with something they're so passionate about, that's so important to them, that's part of who they are. Like, I'm sure coming up with ideas is part of who you are, Aaron. So when a coach can help you with that, help you become that person like you see yourself, man, it's just a rush. And I think all the coaches in inventRight, Stephen and I in inventRight, we get that rush, and it never gets old. It never gets old when you can do something that's so important and it means so much to them. And I have a little, where's my note? So Aaron sent me his product. He sent me this little note, really classy, that he would send me a note and send me his product. Really cool, dude. My assessment is he's not just an inventor, but he has the hustle and he's action oriented. You know, and it's hard to go from just dreaming up ideas to taking action on them. I don't know if Aaron is action oriented in other areas or not. Some people are, some people aren't. But when you just dream up ideas and you keep thinking idea after idea after idea, if you don't take action on them, don't get them out in the world, and Aaron's taking action, he's getting it out in the world, and that's when you're truly an inventor, because that's when things can happen. That's when you can license cool products, you know, dog toys and other things like this. So, Aaron, you have a lot to be proud of. I think Ryan has a lot to be proud of with guiding you through this. Very kind of you to say I couldn't have done it without Ryan. You know, it's hard. It's really hard to do something brand new. It's a profession. Even if it's a part-time profession, it's a profession. So why some people think they can do this with no training whatsoever, you're just going to mess a bunch of stuff up. And I'm glad that you were, this sounds terrible, I'm glad that you were smart enough to realize you needed some help. That makes me realize you were really smart, you know, because so many people struggle with it. And then they get taken advantage of by patent attorneys or invention promotion companies or others because they didn't want to do the work. And you're a man of action, so respect, you know?
Having a coach just sped up the process so much because I would have made so many even more mistakes. Just having the coach there to tell me, to guide me, it just sped
You might have given up. You might have given up.
Yeah,
and that would be
sure.
sad because this is part of who you are, you know? So, Ryan, thank you so much for being there for Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. I have a question for Aaron if we have time.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
So I always tell people when you see your product on store shelves, it's going to be maybe only second to a birth of a child or a marriage, something along that effect. That is if it was a good marriage. So we know that Aaron's product is now going to be probably PetSmart, Walmart, Petco, Chewy, you name it. So Aaron, you finally saw this product on store shelves. What'd that feel like?
I was in Vegas when I kept looking online to see. The first time I checked it, it was like, oh, they have it in stock in Vegas. So I was over there and I drove over there and I was like, holy crap. And I walked in, I was super excited, and it was just a great feeling, just seeing it sitting there in a state that you don't even live in.
That's cool. That's really cool. All right. Well, Ryan, thank you so much. Thank you for coaching Aaron.
Sure.
Aaron, thank you for just being an amazing dude. Thank you for sharing your experience with others because you've been through the process. You weren't where they are now that long ago, you know, and now you've got a couple products licensed. And it just makes it real, man. When you come on and you tell your story, it just makes it real. So thank you so much, you know. Yeah.
And thank you guys. Thank you, Ryan, for being an amazing coach. And thank you, Andrew, for always having the meetings and educating us so much. Both of you guys.
All right. I remind everybody to take care, keep inventing, and we will catch up with you guys next time. See you guys.